A story that will eventually impact many people. We're following a developing story that broke at 6 o'clock tonight. A federal judge clears the way for President Donald Trump to downsize the federal workforce. It's our top story right here on the WHAS11 night team. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. It's a significant legal victory for the Republican president after a string of courtroom setbacks on this. The Office of Personnel Management notified more than 2 million federal employees last month that they had the option to resign their positions and retain full pay and benefits until September 30th. But unions that represent federal employees then sued the administration, arguing the downsizing program violates federal law. However, today, federal judge George O'Toole in Boston said the unions did not have standing to bring the case, saying they weren't directly impacted by the directive. The White House press secretary calling the legal challenges a continued weaponization of the judicial system against Donald Trump.
Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts. 77 million Americans voted to elect this president. And each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people.
Now, as of Tuesday of this week, 65,000 federal workers had agreed to resign. Judge O'Toole, who ruled in favor of the Trump White House today, had recently blocked Donald Trump's efforts twice. More on a story we first told you about at 6. JCPS confirming that 5 elementary school students ate THC-loaded gummies that they thought were candy. It happened at Wellington Elementary School on Kaufman Lane. That's in the Lake Dreamland neighborhood. You can see here EMS was called to the school today. Principal Brandy Carney did send a letter home to Wellington parents saying the students ate the gummies in one of the classrooms. The district says one of the students brought the gummies from home, a bag of the product called Lit Exotics. Carney wrote they can easily be mistaken for candy. One bag of these gummies has 1,000 milligrams of THC. Carney told parents the students did not appear to be phased. EMS was called and performed checkups along with the school nurse. They determined the students did not require any medical attention. The principal says this is a lesson for parents to be very careful about what students have access to at your home. And now also new tonight, the big bus sign-up deadline for JCPS parents is now 2 days away. It's decision day on a big question. Do you want $5 of gas money from the school system or a restored bus stop instead? By March 17th, JCPS is returning bus routes to 2,900 students, and they need to hear from you. WHAS 11 Night Team's Alex Dieterer is talking with a parent who is choosing the bus.
Bus routes restored for nearly 3,000 magnet and traditional JCPS students.
I've been having to rely on my neighbor, our family, friends, whoever can get them to school.
A relief for parent Nicole Williams, who lost transportation for her daughter at DuPont Manual.
It broke my heart. I actually cried at the board meeting because I just can't imagine the effect that it was going to have on so many children, especially the children here in the West End.
Now the decision is in the family's hands. Parents who have lost transportation need to fill out an online form before midnight Friday and choose either to keep the $5 stipend or restore transportation.
But they cannot do both.
JCPS board member Gail Logan Strange.
I know my family itself was impacted.
She had to drive her grandniece and nephew to school once they lost transportation.
We gave students choices, and when we took transportation away, that took people's choices away.
All students at Coleridge Taylor Elementary, Whitney Young Elementary, and Johnson Traditional Middle will have their buses back. While only students on free and reduced lunches at DuPont Manual, Butler Traditional, and Male High Schools will have their routes restored.
I'm grateful that, to have it back, but I think they still need to look at the other parents who don't get to have that.
The district says it needs about 80 more drivers to bring back all the bus routes.
I'd love to see all the routes restored.
The routes are expected to be restored by March 17th. In Louisville, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
By the way, we checked in, and as of tonight, JCPS telling us 673 people have completed the process so far to sign up for a bus stop. Now, we'll have the link to fill out that form right at our website. Just go. It is linked to this story at WHAS11.com. More local news tonight. A vehicle explosion on I-64 downtown caused traffic delays for several hours in the downtown area right at the 3rd Street ramp. This was the aftermath from the Trimark cameras. You can see the car still smoldering there in the top right corner of your screen behind the fire truck. MetroSafe says there were no injuries with the explosion, which happened just before 5 tonight, right in the heart of rush hour traffic. You see how police blocked off the interstate and kept traffic sitting for a while. It's currently unclear how the car caught fire, but traffic in the area did remain closed for several hours. Right now, live here on the night team, we've got a little rain on the lens of our live camera tonight overlooking the Galt House Hotel complex. It is one of those winter nights when you don't even want to look outside. We've had a cold Kentucky rain, a terrible drizzle all day long, and fog tonight. And it looked like it could turn to snow flurries at any minute, Ben. So what's the deal? We're going to get any snow overnight?
No, just liquid out there, and it is not pleasant. It hasn't been pleasant all day today. Dreary conditions will continue with some mist and drizzle through the overnight and getting colder from the northwest. A cold front is moving through now, down to 34 in Paoli, still warmer southeast, 54 in Campbellsville. So a 20-degree difference in temperatures across the viewing area right now. That actual front is right there, that little line you see. So we'll keep some light rain in that forecast over the next several hours, but after midnight we'll start to see a lot of this rain starting to ease off to the east before the colder temperatures arrive. So maybe a couple slick spots on some bridges and overpasses, especially southern Indiana, but most of the roads will be in good shape out the door tomorrow morning, but wind chills will be in the teens out the door. So bundle up tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, highs just above freezing, wind chills in the 20s for our Thursday afternoon. So again, really think about bundling up tomorrow. 31 our low temperature for tonight, 33 at noon tomorrow, and our high temperature just at 35 degrees, more than 10 degrees below normal for this time of the year. We've got a couple dry days on the way through Valentine's Day, but we have a weekend storm and the potential for flooding to talk about coming up.
All right, Ben, as you know, this month and right into March, the big time for flooding around Kentuckiana. With the expected heavy rain and melting snow, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is already warning of potential flooding issues. WHAS11 News was down on the Ohio River today, which is sitting at just over 17 feet. That is still below the 21-foot flood line, however, for the metro. Still 5 feet, a little 5 feet over normal. And because during the wintertime there are less plants, the National Weather Service says they're watching the water levels closely.
Without those additional seasonal vegetation absorbers, creates a lot of runoff and a lot of flooding possibilities. As we get closer to that time frame, I would think we would at some point see a flood watch be issued.
MSD in Louisville also warning about overflows may be occurring due to the recent rains and the snowmelt. As a reminder, MSD says to stay away from the Ohio River, creeks, streams, and drainage ditches because they may also be contaminated the next few days. If you or your pets come in contact with water from any of those, make sure you wash it off with warm, soapy water, especially before handling any food. All news since 6 o'clock. Tonight, we are following a developing story in Floyd County, Indiana. Franklin Township, which is a large rural area outside New Albany, does not have a secured contract with any fire departments for emergency services. WHAS 11 Night Team's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gefter covered tonight's meeting where residents expressed their concerns as they are getting temporary protection.
A packed room full of Franklin Township residents at the Pineview Government Center.
What is our plan for 2025 as far as fire protection?
Homeowners taking to public comment to express their concerns for emergency services.
I want to encourage you to contract with Georgetown for 2025 at the current gracious rate that they're giving us.
The township does not have a fire department nor a contracted agreement with nearby EMS, but the town trustee has a solution on the agenda.
Georgetown Fire Department has gave us an offer of $8,000. That is to cover all of Franklin Township.
But some residents feel differently and would rather have a contract with the Lanesville Volunteer Fire Department. But the trustee did some research.
The response back from Jason Smith with the Department of Homeland Security EMS Division is Lanesville Volunteer Fire Department does not hold a current valid EMS certification.
And that rubbed some in the audience the wrong way.
I'm on Lanesville Fire Department. I've been on there for 47 years, And I don't think anybody can name a run that was ever in Floyd County we were called to that we did not go to.
The township trustee says he secured a reasonable bid with Georgetown Township Fire Department when it comes to how much it will cost residents.
I was able to keep the tax dollars down at the same as the 2024 taxes that they voted on in 23. So there wasn't no taxes raised.
At the end of the meeting, the board decided they wanted to reach out to surrounding fire departments for bids to compare with Georgetown's. The township trustee says that could potentially lead to tax increases. Reporting in southern Indiana, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 Night Team, on your side.
Well, the trustees are giving neighboring departments 30 days to submit a bid for Franklin Township, and that's when they'll compare them on March 19th in the next town meeting. We'll keep you updated.